Welcome back to the Innovate interview series. Lucky enough to be joined here today by Chris Ward, the head of super yachts at OneOcean. Chris, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Jack.
I think it's fair to say that the industry's changed a huge amount in the last 10 years when it comes to bridge systems, chart work, the transition away from paper to paperless bridges. And there's a huge amount of work that goes on both on board and behind the scenes to keep a vessel operational and running efficiently. And part of that is innovation. So, Chris, I was wondering exactly what innovation means to you at OneOcean and how that's developed to keep pace with a rapidly changing industry.
Yeah, so I think you've alluded to it there in the question. There is an awful lot of work that goes into the planning and preparation, both in terms of individual voyages, but also the overall management of a navigational outfit and the number of publications and updates that you need to keep abreast of in order to stay fully compliant across all areas. And for us, I think innovation means improving the time efficiency to produce the end result without having a detrimental impact on the detail or the quality of the information that's getting produced. So in real terms, perhaps an example might be producing a passage plan that includes all of the prerequisite information that you might want in terms of radio signals, nav area warnings, but also being able to include pre-departure checklists, pre-arrival checklists, all this type of information, and consolidating that into a document that's produced in a fraction of the amount of time than it would have done had you had to pull that information together manually and reference all these different areas. So I guess it's a little bit of pulling all the different pieces that make up the navigation and compliance sphere on board and integrating them into one solution. And then there's a level of work that needs to be achieved to, at first level, get a safe level of knowledge and application in terms of navigation, and then really going beyond what is just the minimum requirement and where the captain feels comfortable in terms of, okay, what's the extra information that I want to carry so that should we have to deviate, whether that's because of an emergency situation, or indeed just because there's a change of feeling amongst the guests on board and the potential itinerary changes. Whatever the reason for the changes, there's a requirement for a level of detail that's needed to give the captain, the chief officer, and all the bridge officers a level of sort of assurance and comfort that they've got all their options covered, and whatever happens, they're able to navigate the yacht safely and provide all the options available. And I think, if we're honest with ourselves, in the past, before technology was there to be able to provide a helping hand in the generation of this information, there were probably instances where if something did drastically go wrong and a major deviation had occurred, then perhaps the level of detail on plan B, C, or D wasn't quite the same as plan A. Of course, plan A is always going to be covered. Mm-hmm. So I think it's about providing the ability to operate a super yacht at the level that super yachts have, set the bar. Traditionally, or more often, we think of super yachts as absolutely the pinnacle in terms of service on board. Some of the technological advances in equipment, you look at some of the equipment that's on board in just maybe submarine operations, in the advancements in tenders, the advancements in audio visual, satellite communications. Super yachts are on the bleeding edge of this technology. I think in terms of how we provide information and data to the navigation crew, we're slightly behind other industries, but we're able to use the tools to improve the situation and sort of give the nav team the same level of cutting edge technology as the owner gets when he's watching his home cinema.
Yeah, I think that's a really valid point, and I think a lot of our officer training in particular highlights plan A and then plan B, but as we know in the yachting industry, you need to have plans C, D, E, F, all ready to go at a moment's notice, and they all need to be just as good, and in many ways even better and more detailed, especially for our more further afield destinations.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we've seen a huge increase in the Explorer type yachts, and even not just looking at the design of the yachts, some of the more traditionally designed that have the cruising capabilities of going up to high latitudes and going off into territories that are outside of the normal milk run, if you like. And you're absolutely right. I think the reliance then on information that you can glean from the products that are available to help you becomes all the more important, because if you were talking about going from Saint-Tropez to Monaco, or even going island hopping in the Leeward Islands or the Windward Islands, a lot of people would feel very comfortable doing that, having done it many times in the past, understanding where the hazards are because of past experience. Even if not personally, then other crew members on board will, someone would have been there and done it. So you can kind of take reassurance, if you like, on past knowledge and information. But if you're cruising up the sort of the far east coast of Russia up towards the Bering Sea because you're on a heli ski, then there aren't so many people that have done that, and it is then about what information have you got at your fingertips. It's no different to any other decision-making process. Their knowledge and experience, their seamanship, their ability gives them the options to take the yacht wherever they go. We provide them with a system that gives them the information that they can digest and understand and go, yeah, okay, I absolutely know all there is to know about going into a certain area.
This reads the exact same as I'm used to for the rest of my experience.
Right.
Environmental compliance is there. IMO, all of my notifications are there in front of me. It's overlaid with the bridge systems I'm 100% comfortable with. And then you just roll from the milk run to, the Northwest Passage.
Absolutely, and it just gives them the flexibility and the assurance that they deserve to have to be able to provide that service, to say to the owner and guests, we'll go wherever you want to go.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Innovation Series.